We've been talking a lot about personas, and I think let's talk, shortly about, who is this integration really intended for? We've been talking a lot about different personas. I'll use my coin and say, the persona that we speak to very often is that operational resilience persona, the person who really is relying on what they read in ServiceNow and what they need to see in vArmour's Relationship Cloud. They need to read one thing and see that dependency map actually be consistent with one another so that they can actually understand things like compliance and risk around things like business impact analysis, RTOs, RPOs, those sorts of things. So one persona that I know that we talk to a lot about this integration is that operational resilience persona. But we've also been talking about that enterprise architect. So Ben.
Yeah, we did. We've mentioned that a few times as a theme throughout this webinar. So it's actually the enterprise architect. I think of it as a level above that operational resilience person, right? So they're actually kind of the 10,000-foot view on these applications, right? So the operational resilience person may just simply be focused on trying to keep the lights on, right? So
yeah, totally.
So that's, performance is important. Of course, any security related things as well, right? But ultimately, what they're trying to do is optimize the process. The enterprise architect is trying to do that, but they're also doing that through a different lens of saying, well, I have all of these enterprise policies that I need to accommodate. So now I have to make a plan and a roadmap against my application, right? So not only do I need to know information about what's happening in the live environment, but I also need to know information about what's connected to it. So if I replace a part of my app, say with a cloud system versus what I have on-prem, then I might break some stuff, right? Especially if some of those systems that communicate with my technology can't access the internet for whatever reason, so all of these kind of nuances that come into architecting an application, optimizing it for security, for performance, for everything else, for additional capabilities as our business evolves, all of that comes into play. So I think that, like we said before, we have multiple personas here. So we got like a security operator, an enterprise architect, just a general operations person, or that resilience individual who's maybe focused more on the performance and optimization side. But I think, ultimately, with the data we bring in here, what actually happens is you can enable these use cases for other personas, and without necessarily even having to do any additional configuration.
That's a really good point. Yeah. Yep. We expect that there are going to be more personas. I met with one very large joint customer just last week, and they had more people piling on because the word had gotten out that there was going to be this data available. And so, that got more eyes and more utility out of ServiceNow, and it obviously, helps us talk about.
Yeah, that resonates with us for sure. Yeah,
totally.